Today on the Battalion, we spend the first 12 of this 48-hour shift with Battalion Chief Larry French. He is located Station 1, part of Battalion 1, with an engine company and the hazmat unit.
My name's Lawrence French. Been with Fresno Fire for a little over 16 years. Currently I work out of Station 1 as Battalion 1 BC on the C shift. This was the first career fire department I've worked for. I started my career as a firefighter here in Fresno. I was fortunate enough to test well, and an opportunity presented itself here in Fresno, but it actually goes back to being a teenager. Growing up, I was turned on to the fire service by the Glendale Fire Explorer program in Southern California, where I grew up. Fresno is a very unique community, very diverse community, and provides us great opportunities to use our skill sets. And I think the men and women that don the uniform every day, they're very good at their skill sets. There's a strong desire and pull to want to help the community I work and live in, a desire to be a part of something larger. But it goes deeper than that. There's a strong attraction to the esprit de corps that's developed amongst the crews that you work with and the people you serve with and the community you serve. And as a young individual coming in the fire service, my desires and motives were a little different than they are today as a father of three. And it's very interesting to transcend hopefully only the first half of my career and look back and realize that now those are a little different. Not only do I possess those same desires, a desire to help, be part of something a little greater than ourselves individually, be part of a crew, not to mention this job is it's the best career in the world, and it's a career, not a job. It's a obsession, not a profession.
He starts his day checking on scheduling for the first 24 hours of his 48-hour shift.
Early in the morning, there's a rush of activity while we do lineup and staffing. Then we try and get out and see our stations, and then right around this period of time, most folks try and do a little administrative catch-up, and then again in the evening hours before dinner, and then depending on the assignments and the personnel, our workload can take us into the evening. Some folks well into midnight, 1 in the morning. Today we had the opportunity to meet up with Engine 5, and I've actually shamefully will say that I've never fell a tree. I've never had the opportunity to fall one. So Engine 5 crew has some old hand crew guys on it, and they took us out and showed us how to properly fall a tree and let me actually get behind the saw and do it.
You have a branch that hangs out to the left, to the northwest.
Yeah.
And looking here, we have a lean to the west.
Right.
So I'm assuming it's going to fall west to possibly northwest, depending
So,
on the weight.
And the bulk of our growth and weight on this tree is going which way here?
Aside from this, it's going that way.
Going that way, right?
Battalion Chief French gets ready to go when a call comes in. He jumps in his truck and heads out on the call.
News 20, copy, take a truck, Fresno Fire 1.
Mandatory call.
Don't force the front door. I want to check the interior and the attic. Copy that. Force the front door. Check for extension in the attic.
Turns out he was not needed on scene and will head back to training with Engine 5.
Kind of looks like it leans that way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're pointing in 3 different directions. You guys are pointing that way, right?
I would say probably anywhere within about 30 degrees of here is pretty accurate. I don't think anything's coming back this way.
Now that we got our direction that we're going to drop it, it's always good to kind of sound your tree. So you come up and you've got a flathead axe, and if you look up, you'll see the tree vibrate. But one of the things this does is if there's anything dead on it, snags or anything like that are ready to fall, this will help jar those loose. Okay. And also it'll tell you kind of what kind of material you're dealing with, soft, hard, if you can feel if it's hollow or super dense. So if you come up and smack it, got that bird out of there.
Scared it.
And then once your bottom cut is made, you want to pull the saw out, keep it running the whole time, and then you want to come out and you want to make your your top cut for your super cleaner pie cut, and that's where we bury the dogs in. And then you're just bringing the saw down, so it's gonna articulate like that, and you're gonna tie it in with a little face cut on the other side. We can say moving is our word. All right, and our escape route's got to be our quickest route of escape. So back that way or back that way, whichever one we determine. And then we're just gonna go until we're out of the path of the street.
So this is only we're dropping towards me, right? Kind of toward me. We're actually lining up more about one.
Go!
There goes. Ball!
Yeah.
He's like a pro right there.
It was fun. I definitely didn't do as well as they probably would have liked, but it was a good experience. We had an opportunity in a city-owned parcel where they're trying to do some tree removal to open up the space and prevent, we have fires there every year that tend to be a little problematic for our responses, and we have a training division that's trying to be proactive and get us some opportunities, so I went out and took advantage of it.
At Cosmos USA, our philosophy is simple. Draw on the input and experience of professional firefighters to develop the best fitting, highest quality, high performance personal protective footwear available. It's these materials, processes, and technologies that gives us the edge. Find out more about the most comfortable and best fitting boots in the world at cosmosusa.com. When life and property are on the line, look to the standard-setting performance of Key Combat Ready Attack Hose, the industry's first choice for kink-resistant, low-friction loss, burn-through protection, and handling. Our combat-ready hose lines have high-flow capabilities and more GPMs. Designed for low-pressure, high-volume nozzles, safe to be used by one firefighter. Key Fire Hose. Are you combat ready? Learn more at keyhose.com.
Got to go out to Station 5 and see the folks on the C shift, and they're always good for staying ahead of the game and abreast of what's going on and making sure that they get the information they need.
Okay, let's think about this one. Here's another one. This is crazy. Take the size of the structure, square footage, you divide that by 3, which is the same calculation. You multiply by percentage involved.
Yes.
And that's actually a old school kind of size up. Yep. Now, if you have a 5,000 square foot building, half involved, what kind of GPM flow to actively turn the table on the fire behavior?
We went over some administrative work, and then we opened the discussion to basically open forum discussion. And in the firehouse, that's always good for crew bonding and establishment of crew cohesion as well as entertainment.
Are you going to say length times width?
Times height divided by 100, volume divided by 100.
Oh,
Get you,
that's a lot of math.
get you the hose line for a 30-second fire.
You know, for us, it seems like you start with one line, and if that's not enough, you add another one.
If it looks like a big fire, you get a big
line. If we could just start with not getting elevated and getting into the fetal position, actually moving forward, we're off to a good start.
And our organization does that. We're supposed to coach and meet with our crews on a regular basis.
Battalion Chief French meets up with the crew and many of the members of the department that are on the USAR and or hazmat teams for training sponsored by Pacific Railroad. This specially designed SVI truck is only for hazmat.
What's the scope of the problem? Or did you guys already all do it?
I just gave a
Maybe
quick,
like,
I just said it was a rail car,
do you know what it
fully
is?
loaded, chlorine,
Chlorine.
yeah, initial evacuation, which way it's flowing, or which way it's blowing. We don't know really much else other than that right now.
The spur's been shut down, so Jennifer said.
What was that?
The spur is shut down, so...
Yeah,
traffic
yes,
on
the rail
spur
car
shut
is secure.
And I figured if we just bring it up and park it right back here, we can run a short line to it and hook up water. We're gonna need 2 people on that floor. This is where we're getting dressed.
All right, so we have a rail car here that's leaking chlorine, and you guys are going to attempt to make a repair and assess damage here in a minute. First, we're going to start out with some safety information from Matt Mills.
Main thing you need to know when you're in the suits, what it's like if you've been exposed. So here's some signs or some symptoms that you might feel if you've been exposed to chlorine while you're inside the suit. Rhinorrhea, nausea, headache, dizziness, syncope, muscle weakness, choking, epigastric pain, feeling of suffocation, apprehension and anxiety, dermatitis, retrosternal burning, substernal pain, respiratory distress, shortness of breath, pneumonia, bronchospasm, and acute lung injury. So, if you feel any of those, we need to get you out of the suits and run through decon and treated by ALS.
Awesome. Okay, and then let's go over decon.
Decon, we've
When
got
you
a
guys come out.
two-pool setup. Standard decon setup for washdown. If there is an emergency, the backup team, like I said, they've got the sked ready. And we do have a gross decon setup with a red line at the beginning of the decon setup if we need to hose them off real quick to get them through.
John, what's the plan for emergency evacuation? Just in case we need them to get off the rail car and... Okay. Okay, the normal for our policy, the 3-horn blast. And then yes, we're gonna go upwind. You guys got that? Okay.
Right now, if you can look around, this is the Fresno Union Pacific Railroad yard. And what you're standing on is the brand new training tank car, one of 2 training tank cars that goes all around the United States. And we go to areas like here in Fresno, and we train first responders on hazardous materials and how to respond safely in rail yard.
Sometimes, very hazardous materials are transported through this heavily and densely populated community, and these hazmat team members must be up to date and on their toes.
What's the first thing you're going to do? What's the basic thing you're going to do? All right, you just discovered the vapor valve. One of the vapor valves has an uncontrollable release. One of them. This one. All right. What are you going to do?
I'm going to check the
Call it in.
It may get up to 110 degrees in the shade in Fresno. So testing on this summer day is part of their training.
as you can see, there was not enough visibility. It was very limited, and their dexterity when they're wearing PPE compounds the difficulty of the job. You know, makes it more difficult to apply these bonnets. So experience, preparation, and that's why we're here and we train all the time.
SVI Trucks is a fourth-generation, family-owned, Colorado-based company that specializes in building custom emergency vehicles and has for over 50 years. SVI Trucks has produced over 1,000 emergency service vehicles that are saving lives every day all over the world. SVI Trucks has gained a rock-solid reputation for innovative designs and superior quality. To find out more, go to www.svitrucks.com. When life and property are on the line, look to the standard-setting performance of Key Combat Ready Attack Hose, the industry's first choice for kink-resistant, low-friction loss, burn-through protection, and handling. Our combat-ready hose lines have high-flow capabilities and more GPMs. Designed for low-pressure, high-volume nozzles, safe to be used by one firefighter. Key Fire Hose. Are you combat ready? Learn more at keyhose.com. Night falls. A call comes in. It's a structure fire in progress. Battalion Chief French is on his way.
Standby, we'll double check the state that they were evacuating.
Communication crews arrived.
Yeah, that was good.
Engine 3, upon your arrival, go ahead and do fire attack. Take my firefighter.
We responded to a reported residential fire.
Command fire attack. We have knockdown, but we really got smoky conditions going here. Can we get windows open in the back and then maybe a fan in the front door to get some of the smoke out of here?
We responded to a reported residential fire, and I'm very proud of the work we do as Fresno firefighters. It's very hard for me to say how that relates to the rest of the industry, the state, the American Fire Service, but in terms of the work we do, I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of the fact that we engage with a concerted effort to protect property and to salvage belongings.
Most of the flames have just been put out, but the single-family home is still on fire.
All right, cleared all the rooms out. Yeah. So we cleared the rooms out. I told the guys we're stopping all activity in there. We're gonna bring you in there so we can look at it a little bit, and then we'll finish overhauling after we've done that. Salvage the rooms that weren't affected by fire. We can just close the doors. We shouldn't even have to touch those rooms at all. So not really even. We didn't get in the attic as far as I can see right now.
Have Willard do your primary investigation.
The battalion chief meets up with Captain Chad Tucker from Truck 4.
So we made sure we went up there and did it right this time. So it's okay to get up there.
When we get the opportunity to, and sometimes it's early in the game, unfortunately sometimes it's a little later in the game, depending on our resources and our tactical priorities and objectives, we engage in salvage work. And salvage is really just taking care of the customer's goods or the customer's needs. And on fires, I think that as customer service professionals and public servants, we have a duty to go to them and actually engage them in the process. Some folks, they'll say the most important thing is the pictures on the walls. Well, if you only have 10 minutes to do salvage, seems like getting the pictures off the walls would be the most important thing. Other individuals, that's all they have in that residence, and we'll do everything we can within means and within the abilities that we have on scene to protect and preserve the property that's there. And that's the goal of the American Fire Service, though, is to protect and minimize the loss and damage to property and lives. Once we can say that lives aren't at risk, and we can safely, in a calculated manner, meaning our lives and our health and well-being, engage in a salvage mode, well, the next thing on the list is property. And we should attack that with vengeance if we can, and salvage that property which isn't either permanently damaged or lost, or minimize the damage that's occurring. And I think we all learned a little bit more about our jobs, our skill sets, and our discipline, or our craft, if you will, that evening. It wasn't an overly complex incident, nor was it a significantly large incident. It was just one that wasn't our typical, for lack of better terms, bread and butter fire.
You can see the SVI truck with the command light down the street. This rig is one of the busiest in this department.
What I do is I collect all the empties. I gather them all up, bring them up to the main support here, and then I'll start filling them. Right now these 2 bottles are empty. I'm going to fill them up to 4,500 PSI. That's what the recommended pressure.
Sal, who is one of the ace mechanics at the shop, is also on call with other mechanics from the shop 24/7, 7 days a week. The air truck returns to the station, and the rig is ready for the next call.
I think we have a pretty good barometer for how we take care of our business, and something that we as Fresno firefighters really adhere to and hold of great value is our ability to, when the tones go off, to leave the barn in the rigs, respond to our people, and take care of business, regardless of the emergencies. And I think the men and women that don the uniform every day, they're very good at their skill sets. And like any organization, we have our bumps in the road, we have turbulent times, we have, however, we have an uncanny ability to put that in a box, put it somewhere, leave it at the station, go out the road on Big Red and take care of business. And I wouldn't work for any other agency. If I wanted to be on a parade rig and have a little pretty smile and wave, well, I would have worked somewhere else.
AHID has been around since 1993. We've been training home inspectors for 22 years. We trained roughly over 40,000 home inspectors in that time frame. We really are focusing on training individuals to go out, perform a thorough home inspection, create a successful home inspection company, and help people buying homes. We're in 70 locations across the United States and Canada. We have roughly almost 200 live training courses scheduled for 2015. We have roughly 15 technical trainers on staff. There is a little bit of a classroom environment. We're going over the inspection report. We're filling the report out. We go over a simulation that we just created. We go over, again, some of the theory, almost like a crash course from materials that were taken from the books. But then we go out in the field. A lot of our time is spent in the field, at the house. We'll spend 3-4 hours at a property, inspecting the house from the outside and finishing up in a basement or a crawl space.
Our instructor, Chris, is very knowledgeable. He's been doing it a long time. I think the fact that we're actually doing inspections live is the whole point of the class, because anybody can do something online. And granted, you do learn online, however, the actual practical doing it is the best part of it.
Chris has been so personable. He put his number up on the board for us, so I put that in my phone instantly. And so far he's been awesome answering questions, and I have no doubt that when we finish this class, if we gave him a call, he would be happy to answer our questions. He says he hears from prior students all the time with, they're at a home inspection and they're stumped on something. They go, "Hey Chris, what do you think about this?" He's like, he'll give them an answer, he'll get back to them, and he's just kind of that stepping stone for them to kind of ease into their own business.
We're a company that's growing at a very, very, very fast pace. AHIT's going to be a process that we're going to use to take our company to the next level. We want to be able to have our employees come out and get future training so that they can move on and help us to succeed in the future.
I would definitely recommend AHIT. I think it's a phenomenal way to learn the industry, figure out if it's for you, and get the most knowledge out there possible to become a good inspector. Because obviously your name and your credentials are on the line, and AHIT's just going to help you move that along.
Fort Gary Fire Trucks manufactures the toughest emergency vehicles in the industry with a full-frame aluminum extruded body. We utilize 5083 saltwater marine-grade aluminum and with a large engineering staff to meet your custom needs.
This company has gone above and beyond with engineering and building for us some of the strange equipment that we request. So in 1999, we started the wheels rolling with our very first Fort Gary Fire Truck custom pumper, and we have not looked back since.
This is our Fort Gary Rescue. We took delivery of this in July 2014. Getting everybody orientated on it. It's been pressed into service quite a bit. It's got a command module built into the cab. We can run our command post from there. It's got a 25,000 watt generator. We can light up the night, all LED, no incandescent bulbs on this truck at all. I believe there's only 4 on the entire truck. Totally remote control with our control panel, and we've used this quite a bit at both structure fires and incidents on the highway. On this truck we spec'd a windsock. The helicopter pilots can see this from a long way as they're coming in on making their final approach. They don't have to worry as much from the landing zone officer on the ground to give them their weather conditions.
Visit our website for more info at www.fgft.com. Forged from fire, engineered for the extreme.